Is alt season coming a little sooner than expected? Bitcoin is sitting at 65K, pushing towards the all-time highs, and that can only mean one thing for altcoins. There's also a microcap which is breaking all-time highs right now that could do really well. And I just would like to take a look like what's different in this cycle and what's the same in this cycle, because if you understand that, you know how to play this market. So let's get right into that. First, I want to take a minute of your time to talk about an amazing giveaway that I'm doing for you guys. As you maybe know, I'm running a Patreon where you can get into exclusive sales, follow influencer wallets like Alex Becker and Elio Trades. I drop exclusive videos right there, show my own portfolio, and even give one-on-one calls. Now you can win the highest tier for a lifetime worth of $250 per month. So as you see, there is a Bybit link down below. I partnered up with Bybit because it is time for altcoins again. Bitcoin is doing very well and alt season will come. Now, Bybit has a great selection of altcoins. Therefore, I chose to partner up with them. So if you want to buy alts or sell alts, use the link down below. Sign up. That's the first step. Second step, deposit at least $100. And the third step is just trade like you always do, and we will pick the winner based off the highest trading volume. Now, there's always a good reason to sign up because there will be more giveaways in the future, and everybody that signed up to the link is automatically selected, so there's always a chance to win something. Now let's ride this bull market together. So Bitcoin is just sitting 5% from the all-time high. And actually, we're already there, right? Because the all-time high was just a week. So we got there, but we didn't close the week actually there. And if you look where we closed, that's what we already touched. So actually, everybody, congratulations. You went to the bear market, and before we knew it, before everybody expected it to be, Bitcoin is sitting at an all-time high. This is absolutely incredible. Some people say, hey, now this means that this cycle is different. And it's moving faster than the other cycles, yes, but that's still an average, right? One cycle moves slower, one cycle moves faster. So let's take a look at the similarities, because like I said, if you understand how the cycle moves, you also understand how to play the cycle. So let's take a look at that. But again, this is beautiful. Bitcoin 65,500 American dollars. It is absolutely crazy to witness this. And yeah, altcoins are still not really moving with it, but I think we have some good times coming. So let's talk about that. But first, let's take a look at this chart right here, because this lines it up quite perfectly, right? Now, what is different this time? What's different this time is that we now got above the 618 before the halving. Right? If we look at previous cycles, we got to the 618, we got a rejection right there, and we broke above it after the halving. This cycle as well, we got to the 618, also got a rejection right there, and we got above it after the halving. The halving is this vertical white line. And if you look at the cycle before that, we didn't even get to the 618, right? But we broke above it after the halving as well. So if you look at it like that, every cycle is, of course, a little different. It won't play out exactly the same. That's completely impossible. But the movements, the time that it happens, the moves up or down are the same, right? And then this time we should move up. Now, if we look at when the all-time high was and when we broke the all-time high, in this cycle, let me start with this one. In this cycle, it took 90 weeks. In this cycle, it took 170 weeks. In this cycle, it took 157 weeks. And so far, we are sitting at 120 weeks. Now, we didn't really break it yet. But hey, for all we know, it could happen today, right? But it doesn't look that dissimilar from what happened before. I mean, it went faster than last time. Not that much faster. It went definitely faster than the time before that, and it took longer than the time before that. So when you look at that, when it comes to the timing, it is pretty much on average, at least. So it's not that different. The only thing is, of course, that, you know, the move up, how hard it is going up, that's actually going a lot faster than a lot of people, including myself, thought, because that's just not what history usually shows us, right? We are already going pretty parabolic. Usually before the halving, I mean the last cycle, we also did if you take it from the bottom until the top of that peak, did a 337% move. If we do take a look at what's happening right now before the halving, we're sitting at like 300. Right. So when you compare it to the last cycle, we are not even doing as good as the last cycle. Now, some people say it's moving faster than the previous cycles because we are already, going up so hard before the halving. On the other hand, and I think that's true, but on the other hand, do consider that it could also mean that we move slower, right? Because here, again, like I said, 330% in a matter of like a few months. And then we got that fat rejection before we went really parabolic. Could it be that this is that move and then get that rejection and then go parabolic? I don't think so, but I don't want to rule the possibility out. All right. So, but keep your FOMO in check. Although we're called the Fomo Factory, like yeah, you want to have FOMO, but how you handle that's making it. If you're gonna make it in crypto or not, FOMO is not necessarily a bad thing. It depends on what you do with it, of course. Now, a lot of people, they will FOMO in once they see that Bitcoin is going to break all-time highs and then the retail starts coming in. We haven't seen that yet. Therefore, I lately said, like, my price prediction for Bitcoin is mega bullish. If you ask me, 200-300K, very possible. And a lot of people would say, like, yeah, that's way too high. Like, yeah, but bro, like if these institutions really start buying it up and the retail is not even in yet, and if you look how early we are in the bull market, it is not that weird. It is not that weird, right? Plus, it's just a 20x from the bottom. That's what we did last cycle as well. And other cycles, we did way more. Now, yeah, we have diminishing returns. I know. Definitely. So we will take those into consideration as well. But I think 100K, like, that's maybe a little FUD right there, right? Bitcoin already, like we said, did a 320% move, if we take it to the current top, by the way, from the bottom. If we go to 100K, that's just another 53%. But we have still like 1.5 years bull market ahead of us. We cannot do more than that? I don't know. I think 100K is bearish. And that's what's going to wreck a lot of people. The people will feel like, okay, we got to 100K now. Let's sell, right? So, I have such an allergy for bears these days. But a lot of people, they will probably feel like, okay, it's 100K, let's sell now. And that's how people get wrecked, because then it goes to maybe 250 or so. And that's where the altcoins really moon. And these people all miss out and buy the top and then get wrecked, right? There's always people getting wrecked. It's really like a bull market is so much harder than a bear market. Why? Well, very simple. In a bear market, you don't do anything and you will be fine. The only way to get wrecked in a bear market is if you do something, right? But if you just don't do anything right here, you will be fine. But if you don't do anything right here, you will miss out. That's fucked up. So it's time to do something. Yeah, and what to do? There's no real answer to that, because some people, they cannot take a lot of risks. Some people, they already have a position. Some people don't have a position. Some people have a passive cash flow. Like, then your strategy is so much different per person, right? My strategy is I'm already like for 70%, 70-80% in the market, right? So I feel like I don't have to do shit. I just can write my bags up. If it goes down, I have cash to buy, right? That's my strategy. And that works fine for me, right? And the cash that I have left, if the market keeps on going up, also doesn't matter, because I participate in pre-sales. Now, before I want to talk about the potential early alt season and a couple of interesting charts, this microcap is mooning. This is Web3 Whales. Yes, this is my project. We just made a new all-time high. We migrated. The older chart was pretty close to this, but we are now sitting in a $5.5 million market cap, still super micro cap. But people are picking it up thanks to the community. Almost all the supply is staked. It's crazy. Why is that? Because for the people that don't know what my project is all about, we have a coin. We collect a little bit of taxes, and we have, of course, the Launchpad wallet. And what we do with that money, we participate in IDOs, in seed sales, in pre-sales, etc. And the people that stake our coin, they get the rewards that we get from these pre-sales. Very simple. But we did it. We did it. I mean, we invested in Portal in the angel round, the cheapest round, and that's worth like $1.5 million right now. But we also invested in a lot of. If you look at these projects right here, man, Block Games, Bloodloop, Xverse, Gunzilla, Vendetta, Aether Games, like the best of the best of the best projects. And I personally have high expectations when it comes to Web3 Will. So if you do not know about it, go check it out on CoinGecko or whatever. Don't want to make you FOMO in, just check it out, right? I'm not telling you to buy into our project or anything. That's not my position. But do check it out. If you like to participate in pre-sales, but you don't feel like keeping up with it, or you're living in a country that's restricted, you can just let Web3 Wheels do all the work for you. And yeah, that's so beautiful to see right now that it is really picking up right here. So that's awesome. Now, can we see an alt season sooner than expected? Let's take a look about that. And again, everything on this channel is pure speculation, okay? I don't know, all right? I just want to make that very clear. And I also want to make very clear for you that if you are now in the middle of this looking for YouTubers claiming to know stuff, unsubscribe there, okay? Because it is in a bull market, it is really tempting. Everybody looks like a genius, right? And all these YouTubers, they take the credit for making calls that went up, while in reality, everything goes up in a bull market. These people are not that smart. I'm not that smart, okay? So all I can do is just, speculate, look at the charts, and make my best guess. 8 times out of the 10, they're correct, right? Twice, they're not, because it just moves a little different than it usually does. Hey, and that happens. That's crypto. We don't predict stuff. We make our best guesses. Okay? So the same for this upcoming alt season. Now, again, will there be an alt season? Probably. That's just how the market moves. Bitcoin is the safe bet, right? Bitcoin is the safe play. If people want to have an exposure to crypto, but they feel like, yeah, it's not really worth it for me to take a lot of risk, like down here, right? Down here, it's a good buying opportunity, but a lot of altcoins, they get wrecked. So people, they don't YOLO into altcoins that much, right? But they do in Bitcoin. And now Bitcoin is going up, and people are already sitting at a 4x on Bitcoin that bought it here. Some people sitting at a 3x, maybe a 2x, but people sitting in big profits. There is nobody right now, almost nobody at least, that's in loss on Bitcoin spot, right? Unless they bought it right on this wick. But for the rest, nobody is sitting in a loss on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin never was lower than or higher than this, right? So they couldn't bought it higher. So at a certain point, people will look at Bitcoin and be like, okay, you know what? We're sitting here already. It could go there, but is it really worth it from this point? And they will start looking at altcoins that look a little safe, just like Bitcoin, but still have the upside. And therefore, the market moves like this, like that. Therefore, the money flows from Bitcoin into Ethereum at a certain point. And you might feel like, hey, it's already flowing in Ethereum, right? Not really. I mean, yeah, Ethereum is going up because Bitcoin is going up. But if you look at Ethereum on its Bitcoin pair, it is going down. So, if Ethereum was just holding up against Bitcoin, then it was 64% higher. So if it was 64% higher on its dollar pair, then Ethereum was already sitting at all-time highs. So no, Ethereum is not. It's not really going into Ethereum yet. So that's still about to come, right? We are still in the Bitcoin phase. So I don't know if you know that picture, right? How the money flows: Bitcoin, Ethereum, large caps, mid caps, small shit, Altseason. We still here. I think it won't take that long before we will move to Ethereum. That's what happens all the time. Now, you can always ask yourself, like, yeah, we need a narrative for that. Well, what's the narrative? Well, an Ethereum ETF, maybe. I mean, Bitcoin ETF is doing pretty well so far, right? What do you expect? So I would say, like, hey, if I still would have a lot of Bitcoin and I would feel like, okay, I don't want to take too much risk, but I want to get some upside, I will put it into Ethereum right now, right? And there are people, including myself sometimes, that think like, okay, Ethereum on its Bitcoin pair could go here. But with the I don't know. Maybe it doesn't, right? Maybe this was it. I mean, Ethereum already went down 40% against Bitcoin. 40%. It's still sitting there. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was it. And maybe it's now time for Ethereum to finally catch up. But then that money, look, Bitcoin and Ethereum are the blue chips, right? That's like also ETF worthy. But then we're going to the risky part, right? Everything below there is risky. Like, it's all relative. If you look at crypto, you could say like, well, you know, BNB, biggest chain, basically the gas token of that chain. It's the native token of the biggest exchange in the world. You know, pretty safe. And yeah, it is pretty safe. But for an institution that only looks at Bitcoin and think Bitcoin is already pretty risky, yeah, they look at BNB and be like, meh, right? But at a certain point, the money will flow into there and there, right? It will go into BNB, into Solana, into these high caps, right? Into Avalanche. New people coming into crypto, they have no idea what Avalanche is, right? They look at, they know Bitcoin. Maybe they know Ethereum. And they might have heard about Solana somewhere, but don't really, you know, and at a certain point they will know. And then they will start to fly. Then they will, you know, find out what Chainlink actually is. They'd be like, oh, Chainlink, whoa, that's a good utility. Let's put it into Chainlink. And like I just said, like, hey, Bitcoin has a market cap of $1.2 trillion. Chainlink, 12 billion. Just a micro portion of this has to go into Chainlink. A Chainlink at 5x. Easy. Easy. So that's how the money will move into the market. And at a certain point, people have way too much money everywhere. And you will start to see random shit like this. Shiba up 180% in the last week. Right now, I'm not into Shiba, so I can tell you, but I heard that they had a lot of interesting developments coming, so it was not for no reason. But my point is, is that Shiba started as a meme coin, right? Just purely meme coin. There are meme coins out there now that you have never heard of that will do crazy. And we will get to a shit coin. Like, there is, let me make my own sheet of this. Money flows into Bitcoin, Ethereum, large caps, mid-low caps, Altseason, shitcoin season. A shitcoin season is where you think like, okay, this got to stop. This is unrealistic. This is ridiculous. Where people make meme coins with the most ridiculous names and they just get a $50 million market cap. I remember in 2021, it was, what the fuck? Nobody cared about this here because the real money was made with super fuck Floki Unicum Rocket, right? It was so weird, man. It was so weird. So let's, you know, have that patience, right? We're still at the Bitcoin phase right now. Now, if we do take a look at the USDT dominance, this is a pretty interesting chart right here. Now, the USDT dominance is telling us, hey, how much money is sitting in USDT, right? And this has been going down hard, right? So people say, I hear it all around on YouTube and on Twitter, like, yeah, Bitcoin is going up because of the ETFs, right? Institutions are buying. Well, the USDT dominance, so how much money has been sitting in USDT, has been going down with 55%. So the people here, they thought like, okay, we're at the top, right? In mid-end 2021. Let's put it into USDT. And therefore the USDT dominance went up, right? A lot of money was going into USDT. And now they're starting to deploy it again into crypto. So most money, looks to me, that's what's coming in right now, is from the people that were here last cycle and now start to allocate again. It is funny that that biggest allocation really started just like a month ago, right? So even the OGs buy way too late, right? It's quite funny to me. I'm not saying that the ETFs have no impact at all, for sure. Damn, there you can read the numbers. There's massive inflow, but it's not only that. It's by far not only that. Now, what's interesting is this trend line right here. If you look at this, and if I draw it slightly correct, then you can see that we are now sitting at that trend line. So I'm not saying that it will stop right here, but we could have a significant bounce, which could make Bitcoin. I mean, hey, we went up so hard. What's a correction to like 50K from here, right? Like, man, I mean, it sounds so unrealistic, but let's be real, man. Last week we were still sitting there, and now it's impossible to get back down there. Like, no, we could, right? At a certain point, people feel like, you know, everybody's in profit, right? So people will take profit if they're smart, right? And not with all their money, but if you are sitting at a steady 3-4x with the safest crypto asset out there, hey, why not take some profits, right? Why not? So that's looking fantastic. And it's just the general market conditions as well. If you look at the S&P, making new all-time highs as well, right? It's not because Bitcoin is doing so great. It's just that, you know, this is the phase of the market that we are in. The S&P is making new highs, so Bitcoin is making new highs. And the narrative that people give it is the ETF. It helps, definitely. But it always all lines up with each other. The market moves in a certain direction, and after it did, there's always a piece of news that you can give it, right? And in this case, that's the ETF. But it's just how the market moves, right? It's not that the S&P is going up because there is a Bitcoin ETF or anything, right? So that's not how it works. They always move together with that. Now, if you do look at the S&P in the market where we are right now, so this also moves in the 4-year cycle, of course. If we take it 4 years ago, so March 2020, where were we? Big crash. Yes, because of COVID. But again, the narrative is whatever the fuck. The dips happen, right? If we take it to March 2016, so somewhere in this area right here, you can see that we also in this period, and it doesn't have to exactly be March, in this case February, give or take, had that big correction of the S&P of 14%. And that doesn't sound like much, but if the S&P corrects with 14%, you can bet that Bitcoin is doing double, right? So also 4-year cycle for the S&P tells you that, okay, although the market is very bullish, it is very seasonal to see something like that around this time. It doesn't mean it has to happen, but don't rule it out necessarily. So that's that. Now, if we do take a look at the altcoin market, yeah, making new highs as well. So this looks quite beautiful, right? If we look where we are right now, let me zoom in a little bit. You can see that we have been breaking resistance after resistance after resistance, and we are now in a major resistance area. However, I also expected this area to be more resistance, and we had resistance for like, yeah, December until February, give or take. So 2 months we've been knocking on that door, and then we broke it. Now we're here, and we keep on going to do the same, and then keep on going to do the same. It's not that weird if you get a fat ass well, we're not going backwards. It's not weird if you get a fat ass rejection at a certain point and then go up again. I only want to say that if that happens, take it as an opportunity, okay? Because the market, admit it, is moving a lot faster than you probably thought, than most people thought. So a lot of people, they may have not allocated exactly how they want. Therefore, dips are opportunities, right? And if we do not get them, don't worry, just DCA, man. Just DCA. DCA is always the way. If we take a look at Bitcoin on the fair value, which is quite interesting if you ask me, we are now sitting there, right? We are now sitting at the fair value. So it looks very bullish right now, but we're not like even above the fair value, right? In this bull market, we were way above. The fair value is the red line. In this bull market, we were way above it. In this bull market, we were way above it. This one as well. This one as well, right? We're now at it. So there's a lot of room to grow. Also, it's not that different if you look at this. We went below the fair value in June 2022, and now almost 2 years later, we are going back above it. Here, we went below it in, let's say, December 2018, and we got above it in October 2020, also almost 2 years later. Here, we went below it in February 2015, and we went above it in April 2017, around 2 years as well. Here, we went below it October 2011 and above it in March 2013. 1.5 years. So it's all around 2 years that we spent below the fair value. Right? Now, I think that like this was one exception where we broke above it and got below it again. I don't think that we are going to do that in this in this situation, because we already spent our time. We already had our punishment for being stupid idiot bulls here, right? So I think it's now time for Bitcoin to go above it and just be above it until the next bull market, of course, or bear market. Of course, we could have like a slightly rejection right here and then go below it. But I think that if we really break above it, then we are not going back down there. So that's quite interesting. What I said about retail not really stepping into crypto yet, it's getting there, but it's not really, right? If you look, the red line is retail. The people subscribing to YouTube channels, following new people on Twitter, etc. You know, every time that Bitcoin is going up, you know, the people that are interested are following, but a little delayed, right? You have the top right here for Bitcoin, and the top of the people interested in crypto is a month after that. Now, here as well, top for Bitcoin here, people interested slightly after that. So you'll know, and you can actually see that people, they follow the news, right? When Bitcoin does the best marketing for crypto is a price going up, basically, right? Therefore, shout out to everybody on this channel, because this channel was made in the bear market, and everybody that's here are diehard bear market investors, right? So now we're gonna witness this in the bull market. Now, Bitcoin has been doing very well, but the people interested, the social risk is like, yeah, it's just been going up really, but we were just at the bottom right here when Bitcoin was sitting at like 30, 40K already, right? And now people feel like we're approaching all-time highs, like maybe we should take a look at that Bitcoin again, right? Here as well, Bitcoin approaching all-time highs, right? From the last cycle, and there's where people felt like, okay, maybe we should take a look at it again. And then when it turned out like, okay, this is not a drill, this is for real, people feel like, okay, let's buy. And that's where the retail comes in, and that's driving the price way beyond previous all-time highs. So that's what we haven't seen yet. So we did this on our own, including a little bit of BlackRock and all. But like we saw with the USDT dominance, it's mainly cash that was already in stables, right? So yeah, maybe it was BlackRock's USDT back from 2021. I don't know, but it's not new money, right? It's not really much new money. So my point is, could we see an early alt season? Well, you know, last time when Bitcoin was breaking all-time high, so which was here. Look, Bitcoin was sitting at 20K, right? And here in December 2020, Bitcoin was breaking its all-time high, right? If we now take a look at the altcoin chart, December 2020, which was here, altcoins didn't even make new highs yet, right? That happened like 1 or 2 months later. But that's why altcoins really broke out when Bitcoin made a new all-time high, right? We're sitting at around the same right now. If you look where altcoins sat right here, compared to the high, right? That's kind of where we are right now. So if Bitcoin breaks its all-time high, it could be that we are now going to see this move in altcoins. I expected this to happen at the end of the year. Why? Because if we do take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, right? What do we see? The white lines are the halvings. Here we had the halving, and what happened? 8 months later, well, it's gone now, but 8 months later, we got an Altseason, right? Here we had the halving, and 8 months later, we got an Altseason. So here we have the halving. Yeah, if you take it 8 months from there, then it would mean that you have an Altseason in 2024. But hey, maybe it's a little sooner. I mean, it's not like these are 2 measure points, right? It doesn't make a trend, but it's the only information we have, right? So 8 months, 8 months. Hey, could it be like maybe 2 months, right? Maybe, you know, that altcoins are going up doesn't necessarily mean that this has to go down, right? I mean, it could just be that Bitcoin goes to 80K first and the dominance keeps on going up as well and altcoins still go up. But if we want to see an alt season, that means that altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin, right? Then you want to see the Bitcoin dominance going down. Well, that's definitely not what's happening right now. So, although, and that's good, although the market is bullish, and although everything is going up, we haven't seen an alt season yet, right? And that's cool. We have seen 2 alt seasons. 1, 2. Hey, maybe here number 3. Somewhere this year, probably. But when? Yeah, I don't know. And does it really matter, right? The longer it takes, the better, because the more time you have to position yourself. If it happens today, a lot of people are going to be taken off guard, right? Because a lot of people probably feel like, whoa, I didn't expect this to happen this quick, right? Me neither. I'm prepared for it because I always prepare for something that I don't expect in case I'm wrong, right? That's the best thing you could do. If you expect that, okay, put some eggs in that basket. You expect it not for no reason, but hey, you're a human. This is the market. It's not that the market does what you want, right? That's not how it works. So also plan for something that you don't expect. In either case, for me, it doesn't matter. If it goes up, down, sideways, I'm cool with it, right? If it goes up like all 10x right now, hey, I'm fucking rich very quick. But if it takes a little longer and then goes up 10x, hey, it takes a little longer for me, but I will be richer. So whatever, right? Whatever. If it all goes down into shit, yeah, we're all fucked. Could it happen? Hey, it's crypto. We don't know. Crypto is doing the impossible forever. If you look at it like this, Bitcoin is actually in is there even a bear market, right? Like, yeah, if you zoom in, there are like many bear markets. But if you look at it like this, Bitcoin is only going up. Hey, when correction? I don't probably not. But still, it's funny to look at it like that. But again, if you still have Bitcoin, right, and you feel like I want to buy altcoins with my Bitcoin, that was my strategy, right? Buying Bitcoin, and then when the Bitcoin dominance feels like it's high enough, put that into altcoins. So I wrote my Bitcoin back. Bitcoin is doing fantastic, made a lot of profit with that, and altcoins have been lagging, as we see with the Bitcoin dominance. And if you turn that around, then you can see, for example, this chart right here. This is the total 3 minus USDT and then divided by the Bitcoin market cap. So this is basically every altcoin on its Bitcoin pair. And if you look at it like this, I expected this thing to go down here, but close enough, right? It's all fine, right? If you look at it like this, I feel like, man, we have already gone down 50, 60%. Why wait for that 70? Exactly, because that's still trying to time the bottom, right? This is low enough for me. So looks like major support. Could it break down here? Yeah. But overall, this is the chart. If you have Bitcoin and you're buying altcoins with it, then this is the collective chart, and your altcoin, of course, could look different because this is an average. But if you overall look at the altcoin market right now, and it's Bitcoin pair, and you look at the good quality altcoins, then you, for example, see a Falcon Forged. That's the chart, right? Sitting at its low still, right? So when breakout, it's not happened yet, right? So you haven't missed out on anything. If you look at Ultra, sitting at the lows right here. If you look at Illuvium, sitting at the lows right here. If you look at Chainlink, sitting at lows right here. If you look and there are other altcoins. Ronin, for example, looking very strong, although we came down very hard, but it's an outperformer. If we look at IMX, is slightly an outperformer right here. Solana is definitely an outperformer right there. If you look at Quando, bleeder, hard bleeder, right? So it's all over the place. But overall, if you put it in one chart, then this is how the chart looks like, right? And this is including the outperformers like Solana, right? So you haven't missed anything if you were just buying the boring Bitcoin. The boring Bitcoin just made you a 4x, depending on where you bought it, right? Now it's time to move that money, if you ask me, into altcoins, because for Bitcoin, the reward, meh. You can make a still steady, 3, 4x out of Bitcoin, 5 maybe. But the altcoin market is going to do better than that. And it's now time. Do keep in consideration that, if we get a rejection for Bitcoin, which is getting more and more likely to me, the more green candles we see, then altcoins correct harder usually, right? Depends on what the Bitcoin dominance does, of course. But overall, less liquidity in altcoins. So if Bitcoin goes down 10%, altcoins could go down 15, 20% more, right? But again, if you look at this chart, be a little careful, right? It is a fucking... this chart, it's beautiful, don't get me wrong. But it is telling me whoa, prepare! Because, dude, we basically went up only for 300%. What's a 40% correction from here? Remember, the higher the pump, the higher the dump. The harder the dump. Right? So, and again, I'm not saying it will happen. You've been calling for dumps all the time. You've been wrong. Well, we got a dump, just not as big as I thought. But, hey, can nail everything, right? But still, I do feel like such a hard pump makes me a little cautious, makes me a little suspicious, to be honest. And going back to 40.5 seems like far from here. But remember, we were there last month, right? It's not that long ago or anything. If we can go up that hard, we can go down that hard. That's just how crypto works. But again, that is a opportunity. Okay, that's a real opportunity. Now, when it comes to Altseason, again, I've seen videos on YouTube okay, Altseason is coming, and I'm not gonna call names. You know what channels I mean. They've been calling it for years, right? But again, this is an Altseason, right? Where we go down on the dominance. So altcoins up. Where do you see that? Yeah, this little piece of shit dump right here, here and here and here. And no, real Altseason, it's not there yet. It's not there yet, right? So if we go down from here, it's a nice Altseason. It's by far the smallest Altseason that we would have ever seen, though. But that's also diminishing, right? This Altseason right here, yeah, that was absolutely insane. This Altseason right here made people billionaires. This Altseason right here will create a lot of millionaires as well. But it won't be I still see a lot of people say okay, prepare for the biggest bull market ever. but I feel like the biggest bull market ever. So what's the biggest bull market ever? Like, for example, Bitcoin here went up from the bottom to the top 11,000%. So we're gonna do more than that. So you're saying that Bitcoin goes somewhere to $2 million or so, or like, nah, it's not gonna be the biggest bull market ever. Definitely not. But we don't need that. We don't need that. Hey, if we somehow get a glorious bull market that's gonna be way better and above expectations, then man, and we're gonna 50x our portfolio or something. Hey, I think we're very happy, right? And if you get into certain pre-sales that can really pump your bags harder, yeah, you're gonna make it, man. So again, at the beginning of the video, you saw me talk about Bybit. Do sign up right there. You can win a lifetime access in the Patreon that I've set up, one-on-one calls, following influencer wallets like Alex Becker, Elliot Trades, Hasapedia, personal consulting, exclusive videos, all of that, right? So just sign up on Bybit, deposit $100, start trading, because most of the best altcoins are going on Bybit anyway, right? So you need that. That's the main exchange that I use. So definitely do that. Yeah, and there will be more giveaways and shit like that in the future. So if you can give me a reason in the comments why you would not do that, I'm gonna give you the lifetime access as well. Unless you are restricted from Bybit because you live in a country which you can't use, then I can't help you with that. That's the great governance that we're in. So I want to wrap it up right here. Guys, let me know, man. What do you think? Where is the altcoin market going? How far collectively do you think the altcoin market can pump from here? Can it just go to the previous all-time high? Can it go twice as high? Can it go all the way to 4 times, 5 times as high, 10 times? Let me know. Let me know. I'm very curious to the comments above that. In the meantime, like the video if you like the content, and subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on, and I'll see you soon.